Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So we'll need one more committee member to join and then we'll have quorum. Okay, good morning, Michael. I couldn't recall, are you a member of OCEC?
Yeah, I am. I am a.
Okay. All right, well, we're right at 10:01.
I hold no office though. I'm just a member.
Okay, that's fine. Just checking for the sake of quorum.
Oh,
So we do, yeah, so we do have quorum now. It is 10:01. Do folks want to proceed with the meeting or should we give folks a few more minutes if there's others that we know are planning to join?
Let me see who's here. Looks. Yeah, I think, well, I'm okay with starting if everyone else is.
Okay.
All right. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the community or the CABS Outreach Subcommittee. My name is Nakenya. I am your chair. So welcome to everybody I haven't met yet, and we'll start with introductions and announcements.
I'm Crawford Carpenter, and I'm a member of the Outreach and Community Engagement Subcommittee.
Michael Pitts, I'm also a CAB member and a member of this subcommittee.
I'll go next. I'm Patrice Guillory. I'm Director of Office of Reentry and Justice. And I also wanted to acknowledge one of our newest staff members that joined us just yesterday. Yesterday was her first day. This is Monique Tate. She is our new program coordinator with the office. And so she'll be joining me quite frequently on a lot of these calls.
Are you muted, Monique?
Oh, we can't hear you at all. No. Mm-mm. That's okay. You can probably put it in the chat.
That's a heck of a way to welcome the lady. You won't even allow her to speak. Jesus.
Listen, Crawford.
Holy smoke. Okay.
You know how it goes. We can we get some grace on some technological difficulties? She'll be ready to go for the next one, okay?
Thank goodness, Monique, it didn't happen during your interview, right?
Oh. I love it.
Dale, I think it's just you left. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Dale Harrington. I'm seek to be a member of CAB, and I noticed that are some attachments to today's agenda from me, and so I'm willing to answer any questions that you might have. When I looked at the application, I got embarrassed because I missed the section of putting in my gender. So, so I am male, and I would have put that in had I not skipped it. So.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. It's nice to meet you, Monique. Hopefully we will hear what you sound like at some point. The next thing on our agenda is public comments. This is the time for the public to speak on items that are not on the agenda. Okay, well, the next thing on our agenda is approval of the minutes from April 20th, 2021. Although, didn't we meet last month? We've met every month, right? So
We have.
these would be meetings from June. Or yeah.
Yeah, June 15th. It's on there.
It's on there on yours?
It says on the report from the subcommittee, catch on the right top, it says 6/15/21.
All right. Yeah, I don't see that.
Would you like me to share my screen?
No, it's fine. I was there too, so I know what happened. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one that I got emailed. But okay, so I move to approve the meeting or the minutes from last month's meeting.
Well, you have to call a motion and then,
Okay, I'm calling a motion to approve last month's meeting.
I'll provide the motion to approve the minutes of the meeting on June the 15th.
And I'll second that.
okay, we could do a roll call vote. Crawford, I assume you are voting yay. Michael, I assume you're voting
Yes.
yay. And
Yes,
then Nick.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Oh, we could have switched it up and got a real raucous and just said, I could have just voted no, just to throw you a curveball.
Yeah, but we'd still have a majority, so.
And true, Crawford, that is true.
Hey, Michael, maybe both of us will vote no. How's that? Oh, well. Oh, wait a minute. Is this being recorded, by the way? I think it is.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
okay then. Okay, we'll have to act a little differently then on this meeting. Okay,
I think they're all recorded.
that's
Yeah,
what
they
I'm
are.
afraid of. Okay.
All right, so I'm sorry, remind me, do we ask again for the public comment before moving to the next item on the agenda?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to ask for public comment before we actually vote, but
Oh, yes.
Oh,
but if there's anyone who has anything to say about our meeting minutes, then this is their time.
all right. So the next thing on our agenda is to discuss the CAB ambassador overview. It looks like Michael Pitts will be giving us a presentation, or like you'll just go over it with us.
Well, no, I would, let me see.
Well, actually, Nakinya, the
Actually-
next agenda item is to review the applications for to be considered for nomination for the. full
Yeah, I'm
board.
gonna send this to you guys because I guess somehow I got a completely different
Okay, I posted in the chat the agenda for today. If you're able to see it, the link to the agenda for today.
If it would help, Kenya, yeah, the third item is, or the item that we're on is to review the application of the gentleman, Dale Harrington.
Okay, I do not have that on mine, so
Okay.
I guess we can go ahead and do that.
Okay, and if you're having difficulty, I can assist you, Kenya. I'll walk you through the points and then you can chair the meeting as appropriate, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, hopefully I can pull up the accurate agenda. Otherwise, I will need, it doesn't sound like I have the same thing that everybody else has. So we're at this point, you said we're going through.
Yeah, here, I'll also share screen so everyone can see the same agenda, if that helps.
There we go.
So we're at number 4 here, review applications for new membership to be considered for nomination.
All right, so who has the application to review?
That
So
was sent to all of us. We've already received it. That was sent in the packet. I'm prepared if we could help move along. I've listed some questions, or Michael, if you would like to start. I'd be more than glad to start. I've got a few questions that may assist the group so we can move quickly through the process or move in a steadfast manner here.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it doesn't look like I got the same things as everybody else, so I apologize for that. We'll see what happens later.
Okay, and if I may, just before Crawford steps up, Dale, just so you know, hopefully it's been explained to you, just that we're the outreach committee, and this is kind of the first step. We just want to just really kind of get to meet you and kind of get your input and see kind of what brought you to where you are, wanting to be part of the CAB. And then as that moves on, we would make a recommendation. We assume everything's going to be wonderful. And then if that's the case, then we would move our recommendation forward to the full CAB. So we're not putting you through the grinder today, but we do want to kind of, meet you and kind of get an understanding on what brought you here and why you're interested in being a member of CAB.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And Patrice had been in touch with me, and I don't remember the date, but I think it's the same day as the next CAB meeting. She indicated that I would be interviewed. So I'm not sure what that whole process is.
Okay, well, why don't we start this way, if I may then? First of all, Dale, an outstanding background, interesting. And maybe before we start with our questions, possibly you could give us a elevator speech, so to speak, and just kind of tell us about you for those that didn't have the opportunity to read your vita.
Sure. In all of my career prior to retiring, well, even after I've retired, all of my work has really focused on people, working with people, serving people. It started out in 1963 when I was first hired as a probation officer, and I worked in probation in two different counties, Yolo County and Santa Barbara County, and started as a deputy, worked my way up to assistant chief, and then was involved obviously in administration. And then I was an executive director of two nonprofit corporations that provided low-cost housing to elderly and disabled people. And so there again was serving and working with people. And while I was doing that, I became a faculty member at the University of Phoenix. And that I taught at night. So that meant that I could do that while I was still employed as an executive director. So I actually was with the University of Phoenix for 31 years, focusing on management, sociology, and critical thinking. And then after I retired, and I'm here in Rossmore, I'm on the Golden Rain Foundation Board of Directors, and I've served on several committees here also. So it's been people throughout my entire journey so far.
Well, Dale, thank you, and appreciate you sharing your background with us. I have some questions. Prior to those, would any of the other members care to ask questions, or would you like me to begin?
I'm curious. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, you're the chair. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is our meeting. So, Dale, welcome. I actually found the right notes. Thank you. And I'm able to take a look at your application. I'm curious to know, how did you find out about um, the CAB and what led you here?
I wanted to reach out and and help if I could and be of service in Contra Costa County. And so it's a good question you're asking, but I don't remember exactly what led me to CAB. I know that I was involved with people with the criminal justice, the Delinquency Prevention Commission, worked with them, or at least communicated with them. And then with Trinity House and with White Pony Express. And somewhere along the line, I was introduced to CAB. And so that's what got me involved. I have attended, I believe, all of your committee meetings, and one CAB meeting. So it's a very complex organization and very extensive, but I feel like I'm getting a handle on it and understanding. And I love the fact that all of you are involved in bettering the lives of people, especially people who are in need and have various needs.
Thank you. That's all for me for now.
Okay, maybe moving along then, Dale, first question. How would you prioritize housing, employment, and mental health for a returning citizen? What would you consider to be the most important and why? Let me cover those again: housing, employment, and mental health. How would you prioritize those three items?
You mean which one would be the more important of those, or of the three?
Correct. Yes. How would you prioritize them? One, two, three.
Mental health would be a primary one, because if someone can receive help, then they can be a better functioning individual. It wouldn't have to return to incarceration. But housing obviously is very important to keep people from being homeless. So that would be my next one. And then what was the third one?
Employment, sir.
Oh yeah, employment. Obviously, obviously a goal. Employment obviously not only helps to provide resources for the individual, but it also is so important in their self-esteem. And so I really support any program that helps people to find jobs and maintain jobs. And along with that, I think there can be a lot of benefit to workshops and personal counseling and helping people to better communicate and involve in their interpersonal relationships to help them be successful on the job.
Well, thank you. Next question. You indicated that you had an opportunity to serve for the Yolo County Probation Department as well as the Santa Barbara Probation Department.
Yes, sir.
Sir, were there any differences between those two probation departments? And might you just share one or two of the differences if there were?
No, there weren't really great differences. In terms of my involvement, I was a deputy probation officer in Yolo County. When I went to Santa Barbara, I was hired as assistant chief probation officer. So as a deputy probation officer in Yolo County, I worked with adults, pre-sentence investigations and supervision, and with juveniles, both before your pre-sentence type investigations and supervision, but also was involved in civil actions, step-parent adoptions, child custody investigations. So that was different than Santa Barbara County.
Excellent, excellent. Next question. Because of the two different positions that you held, were there ethnic differences in the populations that you served? For example, Yolo County versus Santa Barbara County.
Yes, Yolo County is an agricultural county, as you know. And so we had, I don't know percentages, but we had a lot of we had, well, we had, I'm going to call them Mexican Americans, that we didn't have in Santa Barbara County. In terms of other races and nationalities, it was pretty similar between the two counties. But more, Yolo County had more lower income individuals. And so that presented some challenges that Santa Barbara County did not. Not that they don't have, not that Santa Barbara County didn't have lower income people, but not to the extent that Yolo County did.
Thank you. And another question here. Reading your resume, you appear to have some extensive experience, exposure in dealing with housing. How do you envision bringing your housing experience to assist returning citizens?
Well, I'm not sure whether we here in Contra Costa County and the housing that you're involved with here involves HUD, but both of my experiences, all the experience with housing, was involved working with HUD, and so I'm familiar with the difficulties, the challenges sometimes of dealing with them. And in terms of the housing, since it was low cost housing, I had lots of people with very, very low incomes, and the challenges that they faced. We also had at the Cambrian Center in San Jose, we had a meal program. And so there was some experience with that as well. I don't know at this point here whether you are involved in any of that, but if you are, I have some, I'm not an expert in terms of food preparation, but I have some understanding about the challenges of providing that kind of service. And also, because I had disabled individuals, I had a lot of experience in making accommodations for disabled individuals.
Well, Dale, thank you. Appreciate that. And I guess then the final question here, in general, how do you think you can make a difference as a member of CAB?
Well, I think the primary thing is that I have great compassion for people. I love people, and I want to be a part of providing meaningful life experiences to people. And so I would hope that anything that I would do could help all of you in fulfilling that. And I have recently become affiliated with the White Pony Express, and I will be collecting donated clothing here in Rossmore on August the 5th to provide clothing to be donated by White Pony Express to people who are in need of clothing. And also they have a lot of involvement in providing food for people throughout the county.
Well, thank you very much. Outstanding background. I'm finished with my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. I don't have any questions. You seem like you covered most of anything I would have asked. Thank you.
I do have a question, and I know that that if we're any person who's a member on CAB also is a member on at least, I guess, one of the subcommittees. Maybe they could be on more than one, I don't know. Crawford, I've seen you, on several meetings, but that doesn't mean that you were a committee member, but because you're on CAB, you obviously are attending. So how is it determined as to which subcommittee a CAB member would be on?
Can I answer that?
Please do, Michael.
Okay. Yeah, so that is a process that kind of gets handled internally, and some of it is basically on, we actually really look for folks' interest. So what's going to happen is in February, there will be a retreat, and those things will be sorted out, basically the assignments, the officers and all that thing going forward. And so, yeah, we do have the expectation of being on one subcommittee, attending that and the full CAB meetings. There are also some seats on the other boards that are CAB specific. And so we kind of sprinkle folks around those as well. Crawford is just showing a great deal of support for what we do. So everybody's not expected to follow Crawford's lead because he's going above and beyond. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Sure.
Being a new person on the scene here, I don't have the depth of understanding about the subcommittees as you people do. So I would assume that you people who are more familiar could look at someone like me and say, well, we think you could be a good fit for this subcommittee. And I would certainly respect that. So that's what I was assuming might happen.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, for clarification, when I became active in the CAB, I did not understand the subcommittees. So I was able to do a little bit of research, and I think we were able to choose where we felt like we would do the most good. So I just want to put that out there. Like, you don't have to feel like someone else has to choose for you. If you have a passion in one area or another and you feel like you have something to offer in the subcommittees, feel free to, ask if that's what you could do, or get information to see, what they're doing there. I think we were given the opportunity to kind of decide what we wanted to do. So.
Okay. I noticed that there is a public protection committee, is not one of the three apparently that a CAB member would serve on. I'm sure that there are CAB members on that, but that's not one of the three. Is that a, I don't know anything about that committee.
Well, you know, what we'll do is we actually kind of have, actually this committee edited and worked together on it. It's just like a basic overview and kind of explaining what CAB is. And so how we're under the umbrella. So, you know, there's PPC, there's CCP, then there's the CAB, and then there's subcommittees from the CAB. So without, you know, bringing out a chalkboard and start drawing trees, that's something we would make sure you kind of understood, you know, kind of how we fit in the whole realignment with the county.
Yeah, you mentioned the alphabet, Michael.
Yeah,
I got so confused. Thank goodness you have the list of all of the acronyms. Holy cow.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Dale. It was really nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here.
And we're happy to have you. So let me see. After that, on our agenda, it looks like we're reviewing the membership renewal survey that we took.
At this point, I mean, if our subcommittee, if we're comfortable with it, we can actually vote as if we want to move forward with this application to the full CAB.
Okay, well, I'm okay with it. I'm happy to see diversity showing up to the meetings, and I think Dale would make a really nice contribution.
So if
I would like to make a motion to approve Dale Harrington's consideration for the full CAB board so that we can move this nomination to the full CAB board.
right, and then I'll second that.
I'll third that.
All right, so I have Crawford made the motion, and Michael, you second. Any discussion?
I did. Is there any discussion? That's the question.
Yeah. Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Nikenya? And then I saw you say yes, Nikenya, though you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
that's okay. And then Michael and Crawford, you both.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
All right, so the next thing on our agenda is to review the membership renewal survey that we took about a week or two ago. Are you familiar with these, Michael?
I'm familiar because I kind of, you know, I don't know if it's just, you know, I kind of brought this up. I don't know if it's just really my concern, but this is one of the things and pardon me if I said this, I haven't said this to this body, or if it was in the full CAB, because you know, all our meetings kind of flow together with the Zoom thing. So, but the reason that this subcommittee, or we asked for this, was that, and I'll keep saying we, kind of like a nurse says, how are we doing today? even though I think I'm the one who really was pushing this. But what we wanted to know early on in the process is what we're looking like coming into the next year. So the idea was that this is something that in the past was probably done, and Patrice can jump in, probably done in like November in the past, trying to get an idea what we're going into the next year. So with this subcommittee's goal as far as with recruitment and such, it was important, I think, for us to know early on what that's looking like. And secondly, maybe have some discussion about the consideration of what CAB is going to look like going forward as far as just logistically. So I think some of you have heard my theory and concern that we have a group of people who I feel like are very active and are really trying to do the good work. However, some of us have never even met each other in person. And there's folks that have come in to the CAB under in a situation where it has been totally what we're doing now. It's been totally Zoom and not in person. So I wanted us as a subcommittee to look at if we needed to really ramp up trying to get folks in based on if the present membership was going to go, well, you know, this was good, but next year there may be meetings in person and that might not work for me. So that's why we did the survey. And then help me, Crawford, and I think there was just 2 people that didn't respond.
Correct.
We didn't, and they didn't ask people that were, so I followed directions. I just wanted to let you know when my name's not on there, because they did say folks that were terming out didn't need to reply to the survey. So that's why my name's not on there. I did follow directions. And so, but as far as I know, there's 2 more people who did not respond. Dr. Hernandez and Jerry Cohen, I don't think she's terming out either.
Michael, would you like me to just reach out to them independently?
I mean, we can. But I guess I'm saying the results of this is optimistic for me, because we have 7 that said they're returning. We just recommended a new person. And then also we just recommended Dale today. Is there 3 new people or is it 2 that will be going forward?
So you have Mark, Thomas, and
Mark.
then Dale.
So that's 9. That's 9 going into the next year. So I don't know if you have any input or comments, but that's why these questions were asked and why they were asked this early on in the process.
Yeah, that was, I missed a little bit. I apologize. I guess I got kicked out. Today isn't my special day, you guys. Bear with me.
Yeah.
Because technically we joined in November, but then we didn't start until this January. So we've only been doing it for a few months. So this would be, I'm assuming, the next November, which was when the overall, or what it felt like it was the overall review for us, right?
No, I don't quite understand what are you saying by what about November?
I thought that was when we went through the process of trying to become a CAB member, or that's when.
No, okay, so the time frame for CAB membership, that's ongoing recruitment, and and based on when you came on, that deals with your calendar year. So for instance, if you came on in, let's say, October of 2021, that October, November, December doesn't really count against your time, like your 1 year, like your membership. It would start on January 1st.
Okay.
What I was saying about November is that in the past, what CAB has done is this survey to get an idea of who's returning wasn't really done until November, till near the end of the year. And that's what I was talking about, November. So folks are actually coming on at different times during the year, and you can help me, Patrice, is it just after July 1st that you're good? And that's your time really starts on the 1st of January, or is it prorated, or is it further on in the year?
Yeah, I now have to review the operating guidelines again too, but I do believe it's the 1st of January.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, November, Nikenya.
Okay.
And the two individuals that you said did not respond was Dr. Hernandez and who else?
I think you said Jerry Cohn.
But I think Nicole told me Jerry was out of the country, or she was out or something.
Oh, Jerry. Okay.
Jerry Cohen, but I don't think she's term. I think her and Lila came in at the same time, actually. So if Lila's not terming out, then those are the two we need to know if they're going to come back or not. So,
Dale, I see you have a question.
Not a question. Michael was talking about the time frame, and Nicole had mentioned to me that if someone is appointed after July 1st, that the rest of that year is not counted as part of the 3 years.
and I like your optimism part of the 3 years, because we really only request a year, so that would actually be a year and a half. So I do appreciate your optimism, saying it does not count against your 3 years.
Well, I mentioned 3 because I know that after 3 years, you have to leave the CAB. So that's why I mentioned 3 years.
You do. And if one other thing I could let this committee know as far as the recruitment piece. I don't know if you recall, and I'm not looking to give horse in the mouth at all, where we had a good deal of you folks come in at the same time. And we actually had a full CAB. We had 15. It was really great. However, in doing so and filling the CAB, the regional spread of the members was kind of skewed. So I believe it was a lot of people either on Central and East, and our guidelines say that every effort will be made to make it even across the region. And having come from government work before this, it said every effort will be made. It didn't say shall or will. So we did get a full CAB. I'm happy about that. So as we go forward, if it's possible, we might want to look at that as well. And I know we had talked about it as far as recruitment. I think we really need some representation from the West, if possible. And that's all I have to say about that, unless anybody has some questions or comments.
Yeah, well, Michael, maybe we could add to this. I think this is great that we're reviewing early, and maybe we should consider putting the membership as an item on each of our agendas. For example, we should know where we stand right now. Yes, we may have a full CAB board. When I say CAB voting members, where do we stand with the alternates? So maybe if we just had a quick 3-minute look at each meeting, then that would be the impetus for us to say, uh-oh, we're down one alternate. Let's have some increased efforts to move forward so that we keep it where it should be at the total of 15. And I would just like to mention that, and maybe, Michael, you've had some experience, Kenya. What do you think that we at least try to address our membership at each of our meetings? It should only take a few seconds. And then that could give us some guidance as to what we need to do on our recruitment efforts, and may long-term help us out so we're not scrambling for membership.
Hey, Kenya, that's kind of your call. I think it sounds like a good idea if it's just gonna continue the agenda item. It'll just be membership, and like you said, Crawford, I think it's something that could be kind of wouldn't necessarily be long, but even maybe for our next one, it may be how can we focus some recruitment effort on the west side.
And what can tie into this? That's excellent, Michael. For example, we've already made the effort of identifying state legislators, be they state senators and state representatives. So now what possibly we could do would be to say, who are the state representatives in the West County area? Who is the state senator in the West County area? We've got names of individuals to contact in those offices, and maybe kind of put a full court press on them, looking for some assistance and seeing if they could help us in the recruitment effort. So then if we move in, in that way, we're able to keep our board full, number one, but most important, the equity of the various counties, if we focus our recruitment efforts in those areas. So just a thought.
So, but that's kind of your call, Kenya.
It looks like we may have lost her.
But I do know we do have the ongoing agenda item, just kind of next steps. And so perhaps we can that might be one of our next steps to, add that to the outreach agenda. I think it's a good idea, Crawford.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Patrice, could we add that item to our agenda for our next meeting?
Sure. So I have for the next meeting to discuss recruitment and outreach in West County, and
yes, but
and then also to decide on having a standing agenda item for membership status.
exactly.
Got it.
Got it. Okay. Since we've lost.
Yeah, Kenya, she just texted me, said that she said her computer keeps logging her out, so she's trying to reboot it.
So Crawford, would you mind sharing in her stead while she tries to work it out?
All right, let me go back to my agenda. Just a minute, I got to look to where am I here? I got to go to my iPad and find the agenda. Okay. And let's see, what is the next thing? I think the next item we have are the ambassador. What do we have on the agenda there? We've got the survey.
So the next item is to discuss potential presenters and scheduling of CAB overview presentations.
Got it. Okay.
Hey, so this is one that's kind of carried. I think this is one of those agenda items, I think, we carried on, like this is the third time. I believe we didn't even get a chance to talk about it last time, Crawford. And I hope it's not a voting item because
No, it's not a voting item, and any items that are listed on the agenda that have where you have an option to take action, you can always take the option of not taking action as well. So
you know what, Michael, maybe we should just talk briefly about what's the background here, what have we done previously, and then let's lay out some steps that we want to cover during our next meeting for next steps.
okay. Yeah, so as I remember this, Crawford, this is more on there was like two different things. So there was going to be a discussion because we knew that we had the full cab having presenters. Then we've had some subcommittees as well. So the reason why this was an agenda item for us was one, to discuss if there was any specific presenters or anybody that we thought would be good to speak to our subcommittee. CAB is we've kind of made the decision that, like, unless it's like a real specific niche that fits your subcommittee, that if we had like an agency come in and present, we want them to present to the full CAB.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that was on there, for us just to kind of brainstorm to see if there was anything specific to us with recruiting or, so that was the first part. The second was about doing the CAB overview presentations. And that, as far as that recruitment piece, did we have anybody or any area where we felt like we could do that? And so,
now was this,
huh?
no, was this now in line with the PowerPoint that you put together, Michael?
Exactly, and this is not a we. When I say we, this is not like one of those nurses saying we. No, we put it together. We, the subcommittee, we put that together. So yeah, that's exactly it. So
okay,
the
good.
question is, you know, have we thought about, do we have venue or meetings or anything like that where we're ready to make the full, you know, that CAB overview presentation? So I guess at this point, it's just that we just need to be on the lookout for that. I mean, I have been at some meetings where I've let the information for CAB, but it wasn't like we had the opportunity to present. So I do know that ORJ is working feverishly on the resuming the meetings with the providers that's under the whole realignment umbrella. And I think we've presented for CAB in the past on those when they were in person. So that may be an opportunity, but that's why it's on there, Crawford. We were just trying to figure out if in the last month, have we thought about, or do we have any opportunity to actually present as we're looking for CAB folks. So like, I'm just off the top of my head, I mean, the question would be, is there any, well, also like for instance, I know they started up the Workforce Innovation Network. So, so WIN is actually, they had it regionally. They had East, Central, and West going on for years. So that was a meeting of providers in the area, and it wasn't necessarily reentry realignment. And so the one I went to, I passed on their information. But again, that would be another opportunity for us when the next one comes to request to be on the agenda. So like the format for this meeting of resource providers, that's what it would be. You might have a couple people present, and then there's just an opportunity to give announcements on what you're doing and change and exchange information.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like brainstorming. And again, it seems like maybe, I don't know who we should ask, who maybe has a better feel on what's going on in West. Maybe that'd be a question for us to ask Lila, perhaps, or try to figure out what we can get on. And since the boss of ORJ's here, just have that out there that we are looking for those opportunities to present.
Sure. Well, I can say that we are tentatively planning for a coming together of all the providers sometime late August. So I can certainly have CAB on the agenda to present.
So I don't know, Crawford, is this something that actually maybe getting carried over again? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it seems to me we're getting there. Not quite though. And by the way, Michael provided all the meat on the bone. So let's be clear about that. When this PowerPoint was put together, hey, Michael, hey, he's the man, let me tell you. So it seems to me maybe we should be specific and start thinking, for example, if we're going to have an outside group or 3 of them, maybe we need to say we're going to present CAB. I mean, was that your idea, Michael? Is if we've got a CBO, should we be presenting CAB to them? Because don't they already know about CAB?
No, so, and that's, so in acknowledging Nakenya's thought on trying to look for other arenas to recruit,
Mm-hmm.
we did have the opportunity to do exactly what you're saying, present at meetings with other agencies. So with our effort to have like a diversity on the board, and what I mean by diversity, I thought we did a really good job of this year, is not necessarily having a board all built up by people who are in the business. And so that we have folks from different walks of life, people who are public, like yourself, Crawford. But that's exactly what we're talking about, the scheduling of CAB overview presentations. So you know what I think we should do? I think for our agenda for next month, we should just present our PowerPoint. That should be on our agenda. And then that might be the opportunity to invite, Dale or some of the new folks to come check it out. And then not only that, we'll present it, and then we'll actually get some practice. And then maybe opportunity to actually advertise our subcommittee as an opportunity for people to come in for like that, basically that recruitment video. So tell me what you think of that one.
Oh, no, hey, I'm with you there, Michael. So do we want to then take one more look? See, I think that PowerPoint, we looked at that PowerPoint, addressed the various slides, I think on 3 different occasions. So I think we've got a document that's ready to go. Are we in agreement there, Michael?
Oh yeah, no, it's ready to go.
Okay, so we're ready to go.
And then the CAB members, whoever's going to do it, there's a script for it, but it's ready to go. It's straightforward, and I think I don't know if I'm volunteering you up or Kenny or whoever, but I think we should present it.
Okay.
On our next meeting.
All right, for the next CAB general meeting.
No, for our next subcommittee.
Oh, subcommittee meeting. Oh, okay.
For our subcommittee meeting, we should.
Okay.
that should be on our agenda is our CAB overview presentation. And
Okay,
not cutting it apart, not working on it. We're going to present it as if we were anywhere else we would present it on Zoom.
okay.
That's my idea.
No, you know what? I second that. And since you and I can vote, what we'll do is
Yeah.
I would like I would
we
like to make a motion that McKinya
Yeah.
present it.
And so we
Since she's not-
don't even need to vote on that. So what we'll do is
know.
we'll invite our newer members or prospective members as well, and then maybe we can talk and figure out who else we might want to invite to come to our subcommittee meeting.
Excellent. Okay. I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Okay, so we'll have for your next meeting next month, the presentation attached to the agenda.
Yes.
Sounds like we have 3 agenda items already for the next meeting. And that would be the PowerPoint, we said we want an ongoing membership
Update?
update or membership. That's going to be, and then I don't know why I said third. Are we looking at?
Yes, there was a
Scheduling.
third one. You wanted to discuss recruitment of members from West County, of potential members from West County.
And that would be under membership, I think.
Well, the way I heard it was that maybe there's some further discussion about what some specific outreach strategies you might want to employ for folks in West County specifically.
Yeah.
But it's certainly all connected.
Why don't we
Yeah,
just
you-
make it 3 items? Oh, excuse me. Why don't we just make it 3 items, Patrice and Michael? Then it's like bam, 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 so we don't get lost in the weeds. And then we can prepare to deal with that specific item for West County. And we'll, bring some resources and say, hey, these are some people we should be calling. Maybe if we really focus and laser in on that. Okay.
Okay, and also, you know what I realized I didn't really look at either is, so I'm central, I'm timing out. No, I'm east. I don't even know where I am. Are we all central and east that are timing out? We don't have anybody west timing out, right? It was me,
Because you, Devon
Central,
and Shayla.
and Shayla's central too. Well, she's west. Oh, so we did lose another West County person.
Mhm.
And then Jerry's west too, I think. So we'll have to see what's up with her. Okay. Wow.
Dale, I see your hand up. Would you like to say something?
I have a suggestion for recruiting from West, but actually it would apply anywhere. And that is, in addition to state legislators, also the county supervisor for that area, and also all city council members in that area might be resources to reach out and contact people.
Yeah, so I know Supervisor Candace Anderson's office has typically sent out recruitment notices for CAB and her email alerts. And I want to say Supervisor Burgess has as well in the past, and possibly Supervisor Joya. But we can certainly circle back around to those offices to see if there is like a flyer of some sort that can be a standing image in their email alerts.
Yeah, that reminds me, Patrice, I forgot, but that's how I learned about applying for CAB, was through a notice from our supervisor. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah,
Sure.
and it's so At least I know for me it was effective.
And Patrice, maybe Nicole isn't here, but we had also discussed about identifying each city in Contra Costa County, and then doing the legwork to find an individual who we could contact. Because the concern was just sending a general email or flyer. If we didn't have a specific contact, it would be lost in the ether and it wouldn't get out. And that's why our test was to identify state representatives, a specific individual with phone number, email to start the process. So if we, and I think we got our arms around that process. And Dale, you know what, maybe you might as well, you know, hopefully you'll be approved by the full board. You might as well just join us here and you could help us in that effort, and we'll have one more member for our subcommittee here. So just thought I would plant the seed, Dale.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm central, am I not? Walnut Creek?
Yes, you'll be central.
Central, yeah. See, that seems to be the difficulty. We have a lot of central people or for Central County, but what is it? We'll make our best efforts or put our best efforts forward. And that's all we can do. Okay, anything else that we need to cover on the CAB presentations? I think we got about 20 minutes or so left.
Hey, but I do want to mention, Crawford, and unfortunately, Kenya can't hear. So with these presentations, if something comes up, you know, we don't have to wait towards to the meeting or anything. So I guess what I'm saying is, I know I would just, if next Wednesday I had an opportunity to present on CAB, I would just do it. You don't need to, you know, it doesn't need to come back through the subcommittee or anything.
Excellent. Yes.
So we'd have to communicate. We also, you know, we like to try to pair up if we can, but if not, I mean, yeah, we got to grab our opportunities when we can.
Okay.
All right.
Concur. All right. Are there any more comments, public comments, or member comments before we move forward then? Okay, let's move forward then to the next item, and it's the CAB talking points.
Okay, so the reason this is on the agenda, first of all, this is not a voting item yet. And so I do know that early on there was some confusion between when we started talking about the talking points and the CAB presentation, and those are two different things. So clearly, I shouldn't say clearly. So the CAB presentation is to let folks know about CAB and how they can join. So, and it is basically written for the layman. So this is something you can present to people that don't know anything about realignment at all. Okay, so that's what our presentation is. The talking points are, we've already done the first step where we started to identify what ambassadors are going to be assigned to what, which public department heads or elected officials. So I just wanted this subcommittee for us to just kind of get an understanding on what we have, and that the process going forward is to really look at item 4, really. So, and I'm not going to read every section, but as you know, we look at attachment 4. These are kind of, well, it's pillars. It's a good word about, these are our policy statement and pillars. So this is something that has not and will not change, right? So these are, if you're presenting to people here, here's what CAB stands for. And then we have it, our bullets in dark there, investment, true justice, incarceration as a last result, and then justice for all is tied to safety for all. So, and also once you get to 2, where we're talking about, and this is what our discussion is, our 40-minute meeting with department heads, either introducing them to CAB and what we're talking about, or reintroducing ourselves, and that this whole idea about budget transparency and accountability. And so just that's ongoing, that's CAB's job. And I know Crawford, you were a wordsmith too. You like the idea of illumination over watchdog, but it you know, that's what our job is, to look at, you know, budget transparency and accountability. And then it explains a little bit, some technical terms. And so as we go further on into, you know, that bullet where it says, though few CCPM members have expressed support of including adjusting the budget cycle. Again, there has been some traction with us as far as our recommendations from last year, dealing with the budget and overspending and everything like that. So that might not be, that's kind of a specific that might not be in our talking points going forward. And then there's some other things about templates and things that Patrice Guillory's CAB just really made inroads in. So you get to 3, again, that's specific. So that's been a kind of ongoing CAB about increasing the capacity of the Office of Reentry and Justice. So clearly that worked, because we just met Monique this morning. So that's kind of a benefit of that. And then as we come up with our policy and budget recommendation number 4, there may be some specifics. So what the process is that the full CAB has, well, I should say the policy and budget, make sure I got this right, Patrice. The policy and budget comes up with we come up with the talking points, our subcommittee. However, all that information, that all comes from all the other subcommittees. So it's basically, we're just gonna put together what CAB is gonna present to these leaders. So I just wanted us to be able to look at it and know that this is that document we've been talking about, the talking points, which is kind of your script for the ambassadors.
Michael, may I comment on 1 or 2 things? And by the way, that's excellent. I think the information you provided. I looked at this particular document, and I was attended I think it was Policy and Services Subcommittee, and they had also talked about the talking points and maybe addressing certain things. And after listening to that and then reading this, I had some suggestions, and I don't know whether these suggestions aren't appropriate, or maybe this document we're locked into it. But the first one, and as you said, kind of wordsmithing something a little bit, when we were talking about our pillars here in section number 1, I was just wondering, might we consider the inclusion of a phrase like, our core values rest on these pillars? And if you go to section 1 and then bullet 1, 2, 3, the 4th bullet. Thank you, Patrice. Yeah, the 4th bullet there, where it says our approach, and I'm just reading the final sentence here. our approach to policy rests on 4 pillars, and then we specify those 4 pillars. And for some reason, I was just looking for maybe a little more muscle to that since it was so important. And that's why I just said, well, what if we could intertwine maybe the concept of our core values rest on these 4 pillars. Now, I know it's nitpicking, so maybe it's too much, and maybe we should move on, because I had some other comments down the line.
Okay, so, all right, so, and my take on that is, okay, so going back, but the reason I really brought this up to this subcommittee this early is that, one, for us to just try to wrap our brain around with outside of maybe a specific language, that this the talking points, and again, they're pillars, you're saying values, but those do not change.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we go forward with making changes to this document, what's going to happen is 3, 4, 3 and 4, that's what's going to change. You know, so basically 1, 2, that's pretty much going to be going forward every year with CAB, because that basically is under, when you say pillars, that's under what our umbrella, what our job is basically to do.
Got it.
So the tough part, or the part that's going to have to come up with, that we have to come up with as a full CAB is, well, what's going to fill in that part? What is specific for our year? And that's kind of been our question since we started this one. Basically, what is our thing this year?
Okay.
I
Well,
think
let me,
huh?
oh, excuse me, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can we move then to, you said the ones that may change would be 3 and 4. I'd like to reference point number 4, the second bullet. And under that, we've got CAB recommends the following. Well, there's a reference to housing, which I thought was excellent. But we've talked considerably at the CAB general meeting, and with we've been exposed to presenters, and people have mentioned, or presenters, mental health and employment. Is there any way we could get those 2 included under that bullet, or in section 4? And then Ozzy, at her committee meeting that I attended, she was asking, she and Dr. Hernandez, could we include something about obvious disabilities and not so obvious disabilities?
Okay, so here's and I take the full brunt of this. I don't feel like I explained it that well. Okay, so what you're talking about on 4, that's part of our process. And again, I'm just bringing this to our subcommittee, bringing this out earlier than I think it has been in the past, just so we know about it. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a call out to the subcommittees to do just what you said, Crawford, that they're gonna recommend certain areas that should be talking points that are focused. And then basically we're gonna mash all that together, and then the full CAB is gonna determine what our talking points are gonna be for that year.
Well, hey, we're on the same path then.
Yeah. And so
Excellent then.
yeah,
Okay.
and so that's why it really wasn't a voting item. Maybe I didn't articulate it that well. It wasn't the idea that we're gonna go through this right now, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood, since we really jumped on signing the ambassadors. This is going to be part of the ambassador, and then also that I did come across a document that was dated, I think, the last, where it was a request from the subcommittees to provide the information to put the PowerPoint together, the talking points together. And I think that might have been late August or something.
Okay.
Something, you know, so we're ahead of the game, but I just wanted folks to be aware. And then exactly what you're talking about, Crawford, that's what we have to do in our subcommittee, and then bring that to the full cab to get the full cab to okay those changes that are made to our talking points.
Outstanding. Well, Patrice, one more item for next steps. Can we then circle back to, let me grab the title, to the CAB ambassador talking points? And let's talk about possible additions or deletions in sections 3 or a review rather than additions and deletions. And would that be in concert with you, Michael, on sections 3 and 4?
Why don't we just do that preliminarily? I need to check this time frame because again, how it would normally work is that the subcommittees would know, all the subcommittees would know in advance so we'd all actually have that as an agenda item.
Okay.
So, and does that sound right, Patrice? Because that's what I kind of recall.
Yeah, if I can, Chair. As Crawford mentioned, the talking points were included in the Policy and Budget Subcommittee agenda last week. Okay. So they did have a chance to talk through this and then offered some input, which is what Crawford was reporting back. Even though Crawford is not a member of Policy and Budget, he did attend and offered to share with this committee what they discussed there. Okay. So he is correct in that sense. So I mean, you theoretically you can, well, we're kind of short on time. This committee could also discuss it as well, what input that you all have for changes to this, to the talking points. And I'm assuming, I haven't checked in, I have to follow through a lot of notes that Nicole left for me before she left, but I have to check in with some of her notes to see what was some of the next steps for programs and services. They may very well have this on their agenda to come as well.
Hey, Crawford, did they vote on anything or they just discussed it?
No, it was just, sorry.
No, go ahead, please, Patrice.
I was gonna say there was no vote taken. It was just input that was given. I collected it and I suggested that I can also, with the input that we're hearing, I can make edits to the talking points and provide for folks both a clean version as well as a track change sort of version, so folks can see where the changes have been made. And then that will be essentially like your initial first draft to review.
And Michael, just to bring you up to date, I sent Patrice and copied Nicole the comments I just made to you. In addition to, I did get together with Ozzy, and she sent me the comments that she and Dr. Hernandez would like to see if we would consider for inclusion. And again, these are just considerations. That's all. They just wanted to get, as did I, the information on the table. That's all we're trying to do.
Okay.
We also put together a sort of general timeline as well of all the upcoming meetings, both the general CAB meetings and the subcommittee meetings, as opportunities for input on the budget requests from CBOs. And I want to say we also scheduled in there, we may have scheduled in there discussions around talking points, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it didn't make it to this agenda because this one was already posted. We can also, as part of this next step of maybe revisiting the talking points for this committee, we can maybe also include a preliminary timeline if you like. Would that be helpful for folks?
That would be helpful for me. Michael, your
Almost definitely.
response. Okay, and the Kenya, hopefully you'll say yes. I notice you're back with us.
Yes, I apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties.
No problem. So we've got 3 yeses. And I know Dale will go along with it too, as a member of the public.
Yes, for sure.
See, okay. See, Dale, you might as well join this committee when you get approved. You know, come on, geez.
Hey, Crawford's always recruiting. I gotta love it. I can't hear you.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we missed out on the other gentleman there. What was it, Thomas Moore or?
Mark Thomas. Yeah.
Mark Thomas. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see where he goes, but what is it? You got to put your toe in the water every now and then. Okay, Patrice, I think we're kind of towards the end of this. I think we've got guidance for our next meeting.
Yeah, so I'll just repeat again, next steps, and you guys can correct me, or if you want to change anything around for the next meeting. So what I have is we'll be scheduling the CAB overview presentation for new members and for prospective members who would like to attend that meeting. We'll also have an agenda item regarding specific recruitment strategies for recruiting members or potential members from West County. And then also discuss having a standing agenda item on membership status so far. And, oh, sorry, and then, so then the 4th item would be to bring back the talking points and to discuss a potential timeline for collecting input and beginning to approve your final talking points.
That's it. Sounds good to me. Okay, are we ready to adjourn, or are
Yeah,
there?
could I make one announcement before? Our ad hoc committee is scheduled for Friday
Yes.
at 1 o'clock. And so my understanding is we still do need to have quorum. So we're hoping that we'll get there. We're not there yet, but I think the agenda got posted, right? Patrice, did it?
Yeah, the agenda got posted last night, so it should have hit folks' inboxes. And yes, it will be from 1 to 3, and we will need quorum. So far, I have received confirmation of 4 CAB members. We need a total of 7. So we have 3 additional folks that hadn't responded yet on whether or not they would attend.
I can respond now. I have a meeting during that time.
Okay.
That was already planned before I knew about this.
This is
Okay.
Dale. I would like to attend that. How can I get the link for it?
After this meeting, I can email you the link directly, but it should be posted on Agenda Center. So any way that you typically would receive the CAB agendas, it will be there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, then we'll see what we can do. I hope we can get 7. Yeah, let's see what we got. So I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so moved.
All right.
Is there a second? It's only can be
Do we have
you.
a second to adjourn too?
No, you don't need to vote to adjourn. You just adjourn.
Okay.
All right.
So we're
Thank you.
adjourning at 11:31 a.m.
All
Thanks, everyone.
Welcome, Monica. Monique, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Monique,
Thank
you
you.
guys take care. Dale.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.